And good morning, welcome to today's video. We're at Mossel Bay Airfield here in South Africa, and today we're flying the Sling 2, which is a low-wing tricycle gear aircraft. This is the aircraft I learned to fly in about a year ago. So today's video is going to be about whether or not we can land this aircraft short, perhaps shorter, or just as short as the high-wing aircraft tail dragger that I'm flying at the moment. And it looks like actually a pretty nice day today. There are a couple of clouds around, but they're pretty high, and they've remained clear of the airfield. The airfield's actually got some blue sky. What we can do for now is just taxi to the holding point, 28, to Mossel Bay traffic, Sierra Tango Bravo, taxiing from the hangar Alpha 2 to the holding point, runway 28. So hopefully this canopy clears up before we take off. That wouldn't be too good for the video. I can see clearly out the front. We just need you guys to be able to see outside. It makes it much better, doesn't it? Okay, we're here at the holding point, runway 28. So let's just line up here. Make a radio call. Nothing coming off final, nothing coming off base. And we look good. Mossel Bay traffic, Sierra Tango Bravo, entering and lining up runway 28. Will be remaining in the left-hand circuit. Fuel pump landing taxi lights are on, strobe light comes on. And laps are set for takeoff. We got clear visual of the runway, and oil temperature, pressures, T's and P's are all in the green, and we are ready to go. DI is aligned. T's and P's are in the green. Airspeed's alive, that's 50 knots. Rotate, and we're airborne. Lovely and smooth as I expected. With a nose dragger, or a tricycle gear, you're pretty much being very wary of that nose wheel as it's quite fragile, whereas in a tail dragger, you've got your main gear at the front and you can almost apply as much brake as possible, just enough so you don't pop over, but you're not going to damage the aircraft. Whereas here, you need to wait for that nose wheel to get on the ground, and then you can apply full brakes. So that's also going to use up a little bit of space, a little bit of runway. But again, it's no excuse not to be able to land a low-wing aircraft short. Alright. So what we can do, just to keep it safe, is we approach at the same speed, but just before touchdown, we'll reduce all the flaps and increase our stall speed, essentially putting the wheels on the ground nice and firm. Alright, we don't want a hard landing, we just want a nice, firm landing. Another difference between a high wing and a low wing is that a high wing tends to have more things attached to it which create a lot more drag. So you can slow a high wing down a lot faster. So it has struts, it has a larger wing usually, and all these things add up to slow that down much faster. So it'll slow down in the air, but also slow down on the ground as well. So that's another key difference. It's just call base, yeah. Mossel Bay traffic, Sierra Tango Bravo on left base, runway 28 will be stop and go. Okay, so we'll reduce the power, get into our flap speed, landing taxi light, fuel pump, and flaps come down. Mossel Bay traffic, Sierra Tango Bravo, final approach, runway 28. Okay, full flaps. And 65 knots on final approach. Okay, so on long final we want about 65 knots. Short final we'll bring it over the fence at 60, and then hopefully touch down at about 50-45 knots. The stall speed on this aircraft is 42 knots. And then the biggest thing with landing short as well is you want to hit a mark. You don't want to overfly a mark or underfly a mark, because that completely defeats the object. Because if you have got a short field, here we got more than enough space, but just to practice, if you have got a short field, you don't want to be undershooting or overshooting your mark, because that could essentially be dangerous. Okay, so we're on short final here, 65 knots. That one was a little bit better. And we're about 25 meters now from that taxiway. And now short field takeoff. Okay, flaps to 2. And we want to get into that ground effect. Okay, we're going to power up. 4,000 RPM, let the brake go. 30 knots, 40 knots. And pull up. Stay in ground effect. Flaps. And that's a short field takeoff. So that touchdown point is crucial there. It looked like I was getting very low towards the end of it, but I feel like I'm too low when in fact I'm not actually. So it's making sure you can clear the beginning of the runway and then touch down as soon as possible. Look at it from here, that first taxiway is actually extremely short. Like that distance from the threshold to the first taxiway looks at about 100 meters. So we're stopping at about 80 meters, which is great for a nose drag, I think. But it's being consistent, which is key. Consistency is always key with anything in aviation. So if you can hit that mark, hit that mark, hit that mark, it'll be good. So again, when you're landing short, it's just protect that nose wheel. As soon as it's on the ground, then apply the brakes. But don't apply the brakes and slam it onto the ground, because you're going to damage that nose wheel. Okay, we're going to do one more short field landing, then we'll call it quits. I hope I've gone through pretty much everything. I'm pretty sure I've gone through everything that I know. I'm sure there's lots more to know, but I've got about 120 hours total time. So those, I would think, are the basics. You do it by a step-by-step process. It would be, as you're coming over the fence, get your speed right, reduce the power. As the wheels touch, flaps out. As the nose wheel touch, apply the brakes. And not too hard on the brakes, but make sure you come to a nice stop. And those are essentially the basics, the 3-step basics. Muscle Bay traffic, Sierra Tango Bravo, turning final approach, runway 28, stop and go. Put full flaps, okay, so we want to slow us down as much as possible, create as much lift as possible so we can get in as slow as possible. And then we want a steep, stable approach. Some power on all the way down. Okay, keep it as stable as you can. Steep, stable approach. We'll exit on this taxiway. Fuel pump comes off. Landing a strobe comes off. And we've vacated. So that was a nice little short flight. It's always good to practice like this. And we're gonna taxi on back here. Alright, thank you so much for watching the video. If you did like it, hit the thumbs up. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, that'd be great. And I can't wait for further videos on this channel. I really enjoy making them, and I hope you enjoyed the videos too. So thanks so much for watching.